The government shutdown can cost the economy billions, not to mention you, the American taxpayer, are essentially paying for hundreds of thousands of non-essential workers to stay home and not work. Deputy Public Policy Editor for OpenTheBooks.com, Rachel O'Brien, looking at just how much you're spending, and she does join us right now to discuss. Good morning to you. How much is it costing to pay these non-essential furloughed workers to essentially not work?
Good morning. Yeah. Reporter a few minutes ago was just talking about the various bills in Congress to pay some people while the government is shut down. So the Government Employee Fair Treatment Act, they guarantee back pay for all impacted federal workers once the government shutdown ends, right? So once everyone is back, people get paychecks. So today is the 18th work day since the government shut down. The Congressional Budget Office estimates that it costs $400 million per work day to pay 750,000 furloughed non-essential workers. So if you do the math, by today, $7.2 billion will have to be paid to these workers who are not working when the government reopens.
Yeah, and most of these federal employees obviously are located here in Washington, D.C. There's more than 400,000 in the district, but what state has the next largest workforce, and what is the average salary we're talking about here?
Yeah, Maryland, right? It makes sense that they would have such a large workforce, almost 100,000 people with 250 agencies.
Wow.
They are earning higher on average than any other state, over $125,000. A good chunk of that workforce works for HHS, some for the Department of Commerce, Social Security Administration. And I should mention that that $7.2 billion figure, that doesn't include the essential workers who are actually working without pay, those air traffic controllers, the TSA officers, Customs and Border Protection. It's just those people who aren't working.
Yeah, and in the private sector, if you are furloughed, that typically means you don't work, you don't get paid. Well, Senator Joni Ernst is sponsoring a bill to make the spending for government furloughed workers more transparent. So what are the details in this particular bill that she's sponsoring?
Yeah, so it would require federal agencies to plainly show the number of furloughed workers and how much each will be paid in back pay despite not working. It's called the Non-Essential Workers Transparency Act. So agencies already need to do the math for all of their employees to give them the back pay when the government reopens. Ernst's bill would just make it more transparent. So we would see all of that instead of seeing just a lump sum of billions for all federal agencies. Now, there are, of course, critical programs that people rely on. This is a step toward the transparency we're always asking of government. So taxpayers can make the assessments for themselves and determine if you're able to be furloughed for weeks, are all these positions really needed to begin with?
Exactly. I mean, if they are non-essential and they can go for weeks during this shutdown, are those positions actually necessary? I mean, what are we paying for as taxpayers? I think it's very, very vital. All right, Rachel O'Brien, great to see you this morning. Thanks for joining us.